Suzanne is here, and we have a quorum, I see.
Suzanne is on the line too?
What's that?
Suzanne's on the line too?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I see her.
Yeah.
I'm here, but I don't have my video on because I'm having a snack. You guys don't need to see me chew.
Let me make sure I
That's
have
all right.
everybody for the minutes. I
Okay.
have Evelyn, Patty, Laura, Sarah, Dan, Will, Suzanne, and Daryl.
And who?
and
And who?
Daryl must be the
no, Daryl,
Dowell.
Dowell
Dowell.
yeah.
My
Sarah.
husband,
Oh,
but he's
Sarah.
not on the
Is you-
board.
is you, Sarah.
Do you have
He's not on
Diane?
the board. No, it's just that his name pops up when you when you put in our email address.
No, he's not here.
No.
But
Me,
Sarah is.
Sarah,
Sarah
Okay,
He's not on
got
the
it.
board. Sorry.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, so is there any discussion over the minutes from the January meeting?
No.
No.
I again like them, so could I
Yeah.
hear a motion to approve those?
I
make-
we approve them.
second.
Okay, and all in favor? Aye.
Hi.
And any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. That takes care of that. Suzanne,
Yes, sir.
do you have anything to report?
I actually do. Hold on.
Have you finished chewing?
I'm finished chewing. Yeah, the thing I have to report this week is that in conjunction with Outer Cape Health and the health
Okay.
agent, where the people who are deemed shut-ins or who find it extremely difficult to leave their homes without assistance will be getting in-home vaccinations, and they
Yay.
will be Johnson & Johnson
I'm
vaccine.
sorry, I'm not hearing anyone.
Well,
I've got something wrong with my.
Check your audio and unmute it.
Yeah, you're muted. I can see the sign.
Yeah. The sign says you're muted,
I'm
so
going to go out and come back in because I'm having problems with my audio.
okay.
Okay.
Let me wait a few seconds then.
Hi.
Hello, Terry.
I have to call you back because I'm in a Zoom meeting. Bye.
Trying to figure out how to get rid of my picture so I can see you.
Mary doesn't
Suzanne?
have a picture. I hear chimes. That's my clock. Nice.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, Evelyn, are you in?
I
Are you
mean,
in, Evelyn?
sorry, I tried to connect earphones and it screwed my something up. So I hope you don't hear my noise in the background.
Yeah, that's all right.
No.
Doesn't matter. They just want
Okay,
my clock
Suzanne,
time.
the floor is yours.
Yes.
Oh, all right. The good news here is that we've been working with Outer Cape Health Services for a few weeks and the health agent to provide vaccinations to housebound people and to their caregivers. So that's been set up. We have created the list and we have the numbers, and Hillary called me yesterday and said that the vaccine would be Johnson & Johnson, which reduces our logistics by 50%, which is great because we only have to set up one round of house appointments. The fire department is lending their personnel to the effort, and that EMT or a paramedic will be with the nurse when he comes to the house to give the vaccination. Then the fire department personnel will stay with the person during their 15 or 30-minute waiting period, depending on their allergy status. and then meet the team at the next allocated house where they will once again stay during the waiting period with the patient. And most people are very excited about this. We had very few who turned down the offer. And I'm glad that we're getting this done.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
great.
That's the good
That's
news for this
great.
week.
That's great.
It's wonderful.
Mhm.
And I can only sing the praises of Outer Cape Health because they have been working diligently on this and working with us despite
great.
their other responsibilities. So I'm very happy.
Yay.
Their setup as far as their clinics is very efficient too. You go in, you get your shot, you wait your
Mhm.
15 minutes and give you a little timer. You sit there, when it beeps, you go put it in the basket and you leave. And
Yeah.
it's very efficient. And I think we got a call from them. We didn't call them.
Mhm.
So did
Yeah,
I. But a
yeah.
couple of other people I talked to had not gotten a call from them. So I called them and squawked and said, hey, here's this person, 93 years old, lives alone, blah, blah, blah. And she hasn't gotten a call for to come in for her COVID. So sure enough, a couple hours later, she calls me back and says, hey, I got a call. I said, good, we'll take you. So,
That's great. What a good advocate you are, Sarah. That's wonderful.
yeah, well, anyway, yeah, well, sometimes, you have to, but so.
Yeah, also, I was at a board meeting of Outer Cape the other day, and they were singing the praises of the local ambulance, the rescue squads,
Mhm.
for really helping out and being very efficient. And I think up in Truro, they did a whole bunch of people in one day. They
Wow.
had like 50 people that needed to get done. Maybe they didn't do all in one day,
Yeah,
but they went
they
through
got
and did a
done, yeah.
really
Yeah. Got a lot of
big
people that
job.
can't get out. They don't have transportation. They don't have anybody to take them. They rely on the senior center or the rescue squad.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Suzanne?
No. I'm actually waiting for the state to come up with new guidance on reopening, but they have not as yet. So
Okay,
when that happens, you'll be the first to know.
very good.
Good.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Evelyn, the Friends.
Okay, get my notes here. The Friends Board met on February 10th. And we're fiscally healthy with over $6,600 in the bank waiting, on board. So when things start to open up again, we will have some funding to begin with. We talked about future when the building opens, concerts. There was a suggestion about, I know it came up at this meeting last time, gym room with equipment, but that the Friends could do fundraising for that. A new sign to indicate the Wellfleet Adult Community Center, and also certainly willing to do support for the community survey if funding was needed for that, and in the future, walking trail in case there were things that were needed for that. We, decided we had to defer Wellfleet Dines Out for another year since everything is still uncertain. And if the restaurants are able to open by the summer, certainly they have a lot of catching up to do in terms of their own finances, I am sure. So I hate to hit them up this year. Also, I've registered, there's Terry.
Here I am.
Hi,
It
Terry.
only took me a half an hour to figure it out.
Yeah. So
There.
tomorrow Suzanne and Terry told me about an online seminar that is being put on by, I guess, Cape and Islands COAs, about the relationship between Friends groups and COAs. So I am registered for that and I've sent it out to the Friends Board in case anybody else could register for that, because I think it's really good to hear the latest and best practices and all that kind of stuff. So we will meet again next week on the 24th at 10:30. And I've got to get a notice out about that. And Suzanne, you have that on your calendar, right?
I do, Evelyn.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
do too, yeah.
yeah,
Evelyn,
offline,
what time is that seminar tomorrow?
it's at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, no can do, have a doctor appointment
Okay, yeah.
at 12:50.
Oh dear, yeah. So,
Oh, well, I'll hear about it at the meeting next week.
okay. And Suzanne, I had sent you as well as the board a draft of a letter to our members, and
Got that.
I wondered if you had any feedback on that.
I thought it was an excellent letter. I have no recommendations for changes or anything.
No,
Okay,
no,
thank
neither
you.
do I. I printed
Me
it.
too.
Looks
I
good.
sent
Beautiful.
back
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Do you think if I put it in,
Can you bring those boxes in for me? I can't.
if I put it in 11 font rather than 12, maybe I can get it on one page. And
All right.
so anyway, okay. Oh, there was a date that I needed, I think. There was a blank that I left because I wasn't sure.
Just on the floor, I guess. Yeah. A date. Oh, you need the channel number for Melissa's.
Channel number, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was something.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew it was a number.
Yeah.
Is that 99 or?
I
I don't
think
know
it
if it's 99 or 18, Suzanne, do you?
might be
It's
both.
18, excuse me, it's 18.
It's 18.
18. There's 18.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay.
you're welcome.
Okay. All right, and that's my report.
Okay.
Oh, they got it. Thank
They
you.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, then the next item is we're short one member of the board. So if anyone out there has ideas of who might like to serve, I'd appreciate it that you let me know, or let everyone know who that might be, and we can have them come on for a meeting and see, see if they're interested. So I just thought I would bring that up
Mhm.
in case some of us know of somebody.
Okay.
Good.
So, all right, and so then the real business of this meeting is the questionnaire that Laura and her team are working on. So Laura, why don't you
Yeah.
explain what you think what questions you would like
All right.
answered?
Well, I think that as I started to look at this, we haven't met yet as a committee, but as I started to do some investigating, it seemed like it was really important to talk to Suzanne and Terry, and I think the members of this committee in terms of what their goals and expectations and outcomes would be. And I know I've looked at two different places for survey that would do surveys for us. And that was a guiding light in each one of those. And they said the most successful surveys are done when you have clear intentions. And so that was the first thing to talk about, what our goals, and specifically, Terry and Suzanne and Sally, who do program planning, what sorts of things that you would like to see in this survey. And I know that we're also looking at the branding of the senior center has changed to an adult community center to include in this younger people in the community. So actually having a age range on that. And then a timeline for getting this done and having it sent out. So I guess I was looking for guidance in those three things so that the committee could actually go forward and to devise questions and put something together for actually everybody to look at again for approval before it's done. So what I've done with my investigation, I've looked at SurveyMonkey, which is the program that was used on the last one. And they have really good support for question writing that isn't biased and a lot of samples. And I know in the Friends meeting, Suzanne, you had mentioned that it's the questions, the quality of the questions are really important to the information that you get back. So there's a lot of support they have there, many different kinds of questions for different uses. So that would be really, really helpful. And I took a peek at their plans. They have a free plan that will allow 10 questions, 100 responses, and for you to view 40 responses. And then if you want to view the rest of them, there's a charge for that. So it didn't seem like that would really fit, our needs in any way. And then two of the others, there was one that's $32 a month, which they bill annually. So we have to put out $382 for that, which seems outrageous. And the other one was a $99 per month, which is billed monthly, which perhaps we could do just for a single month. But Patty sent me some information from a friend and that she knows that does a lot of survey writing with different organizations that she works with. And she said that the Google Docs form has a free survey. So I did look at their site too. As far as I can see, the numbers wouldn't be limited in what we sent out and what our responses are. They have two categories, a personal and a business survey. I don't know which we would qualify for. I'm guessing, and I will look. You have to log in. You have to set up an account before they'll really give you any information on both of these places. And then you have an opportunity to do a live chat, for questions and information. So I will do that, but they have the two, the personal and then the business survey. And like I say, I'm guessing that the business survey will have something to do with money. But if we can do it on Google Docs for free, that would be great, because I have a feeling that in the past, or the first survey that was done in 2012, there was also a component that went out by mail, which is very, very expensive. My concern with Google Docs, I want to just make sure that they would allow me or somebody to input those responses, paper responses, into the system so that we could get, all of them together, get information about what the responses and the returns are and the wants and needs of the community. So that's where kind of stands with at least the sites for the survey. There's lots of good objectives. I'm wondering about what our timeline is with, when the adult community center will reopen. Do we want to start working on this now? I know the last survey, they said it was put out in May into June because there was a want to capture people that are that fly away for the winter and come back for the summer. So you would have the biggest pool of people to get responses from. But then the centers are, it will be open perhaps during the summer. So I don't know. I guess I'm looking for some guidance with that, and then goals and objectives. So I don't know if anybody, or Suzanne, you have, or Terry. I really think you two are going to be. We want to make it the best it can be, the information that you guys can utilize. So I don't know. I'm just open that up to first with the timeline and then goals and objectives.
Well, in terms of the timeline, any projects that entail a financial component to the town, I would have to have finalized with a dollar amount attached to them by October to put them in the budget for the following July 1st fiscal year. So
Okay.
that is my timeline need, and because I only can get things funded once a year. So it's not as if I can just, interleaf it after the fact.
Right. So,
Especially now where I think we're a little bit tight financially.
Yeah. Suzanne, would this be funded by the town, or would we ask?
Well, I would think that,
friends?
I would like to ask the town for it to be funded, depending on what it is. If it's a
Okay.
program that costs $700 or $1,000, that would go in my budget
Okay.
request.
Yeah.
Anything more than $5,000 has to go in the capital budget,
Yeah.
which is June. So that's second piece.
So my question is then, if it went in October, the survey would not be able to be funded until the following year?
Oh, no, I'm saying I can't fund the survey, but if you could get the results to me by October, then I can put the financial piece in for executing some of those goals the following July 1st.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. that's, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that
But the last
clarification.
time, the Friends paid for the survey, the actual survey.
Mhm.
As I
Yes.
recall it.
Right,
Right.
that's what I thought was, you know,
Yeah.
if we did Survey Monkey, it would be only 300.
Yes, yeah, it was, you know, 100, I don't know how many, I don't remember how much, but it was in the hundreds something or another with Survey Monkey.
Yeah, it's
Right.
309.
Funded that and any resulting
Hi, Sally.
postage, et cetera, as I recollect. Am I right on that, Diane?
What? I'm sorry.
Do you remember on the last survey we did in 2012, the Friends funded that, as I recollect? correct?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what I'm
Yeah,
talking about
I
more
wouldn't,
funding
what, one way or another, the funding will be there. So let's not worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of us,
All right.
either the friends will or it'll get paid.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, and-
having,
I think one thing we've got to decide on, what age group are we going to open this center to all age groups? Or how do we know how to target what kind of programs we want? I mean, are we going to have it so that it'll be children coming in all the time, or
No,
just
no.
what are we looking at?
I thought we were looking at 60 plus.
I didn't know if that was determined.
yeah,
Could I'd just like to input, we're trying to get the younger seniors, but really theoretically an adult community center is open to anyone over 18. However, I don't think it'll be attractive to the 18 to 50-year-olds, but I would think we want to target 50 and above,
50,
and that's
Right, you're right.
and
you're right.
that's why, you know, Laura's comment about needing to identify on this survey what age group these folks are in, so we have a better idea of who's responding and what age cohort is interested in.
absolutely.
I think you're right. I think 50 plus, right?
Yeah, but I think the survey should say, you know, like 18 to 30 to
Oh.
40
I
to
don't-
50,
Yeah.
you know, just in case, because otherwise, you know, when you say adult, it's over 18.
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah,
right
that's
about that?
right.
You know,
I don't know.
Suzanne, can I ask about you were saying that we could get addresses from the town mailing list. Can they separate that out from the demographics?
I have an Excel chart. I have an Excel chart of everybody 65 and over. So I can just ask her to send me a chart with 50 and over.
Okay, great.
I would do it too. I would do it maybe separately. I would encourage people to do it online using whatever link is online to do the survey. Because then you get your responses, you don't have to tabulate them yourself
Right.
by hand. Maybe do a little public relations thing, email blast on Facebook, whatever. If you're interested in this survey, here's the link. And if you don't have, or even if it's in the newspaper or our newsletter, if you don't have access to a computer, let us know and we'll mail you a copy. That way you're not broadcasting 3,000 copies across town when it might be 400 or 500 that are requested as opposed
All right.
to 1,000.
That's a great
That would
idea.
reduce your
Yeah.
costs
Yeah,
considerably.
That-
Maybe lengthen the response period so that as people hear about it by word of mouth, they have time to get their hard copy and mail it back in.
Yeah.
We could tuck one in every bag on Friday that the meals go in. That's 50.
That's a
right
good
there.
idea.
Yeah.
And Terry, you could put it in your newsletter too, correct?
You're on mute, Terry. You're muted. Terry, you're muted.
Sorry, I thought I unmuted.
That's okay.
I haven't done an actual hard copy in a while, but I certainly could. And just between my emails now hit just last week over 400 people. And then if I put it on Facebook and then share it in the Wellfleet community space,
Yeah,
that will get some. And the chamber always includes us in their stuff too. So the chamber would, I am certain, included in their email
Mhm.
blast. I think
That's-
now, don't we belong to them? The chamber didn't. the
Yes, we
Friends
do.
come in? Yeah.
Yeah.
So through electronically, it will go out to a pretty wide group. And I think that Wellfleet Community Space page would hit a lot of age groups. There's a lot of younger people on that
Mhm.
group.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Suzanne? You're muted.
You-
No, I'm doing it too. See, it's,
Who would think we'd have this figured out by now?
my phone goes off, the scanner goes off. It's just, I think that because you're trying to capture the thoughts and the wishes of the older adults, for lack of a better description, that it's really important to broadcast it on Facebook, which is really the, middle-aged and older person's platform these days. So that'll be appropriate. And yeah, I think we can get it out there. And then if people still don't, if they just suddenly hear about it, we can still accept, there's no hard and fast deadline. There will be, if Google is willing. I know on Survey Monkey, they would run the statistical analyses, like how many people in the
Yeah.
31 to age 40 age group, what were they interested in by percentage of their age group? And I don't know if Google does that, offers that statistical
Yeah.
analysis piece as well.
I don't know. That's something I need to find out, because that might be the difference between paying the $99 and not. If you get that, it might be worth the
It
bang
is,
for the
because
buck.
otherwise we have to crunch them and turn them into charts and analysis.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I took that course.
We can't even
Long
unmute
time.
our computers. We can't make a pie chart.
Right.
It was in 2002, so shush.
The other thing going along with all of this is, I think, to get press releases out to all the local newspapers, Cape Cod Times, Provincetown
I'm
Independent.
happy to do that for you guys, because I
Great.
have all those contacts right in my computer.
Yeah, and I think that publicity should also tie into the new name and the new logo.
Yeah.
So it's all of a piece.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
It would be great is to get someone to write an article in the Independent about this.
Yes.
maybe
That
we
would
can hit
be-
Ed Miller up. He's old.
Yeah.
He lives in Wall
Yeah,
Street.
he's
That would be
local,
appropriate.
so
He might
Yeah,
have signed someone.
I mean, I know Ed, but I assume a lot of you other folks know Ed as well. But if you need me to at some point contact Ed,
I think that would be good, because he's
I'd
very
be-
pro community, and I would like to
I'd
see.
be willing to do that.
Great.
that would be
Yeah.
great,
Personal
Will.
contact would be good.
Yeah, because I'm one of the shareholders of the organization. One of my real money making investments.
I'm sure you're going to retire on it
Oh,
again.
good
Yeah.
job,
I
Will.
say, that's
I
Will's way of
plan
saying
on
he's
it.
gonna dump us soon.
I've let Ed know that I expect to return.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful if you do that, because if an article come out, that would be like a pre-chaser to the survey coming out. People would read it, and then when they see it in their inbox, and it was like, oh, it's my turn to fill it out. So that would be great.
Yeah,
they
just
do
let
a
me
lot
know
of stuff
at the
on social
time
media, too.
Yep.
what, because we need to flower it up a bit to make it worthy to,
Yeah.
it has to be a story part of it.
Here's,
But
here's
I'm
the-
sure they can do something.
I'm sorry, June 5th, which is now town meeting. I don't know if you're all aware, that's been rescheduled for June 5th outside. Will be one place where you're going to have 400 people in person, then you could hand out hard copies to people who wanted it at that point.
Oh,
Oh, that's
perfect.
great.
That's a
Yeah.
great
Or
idea.
just the informational sheet.
Yeah.
There's your deadline, Laura.
Yeah,
Set up-
that's right. That's perfect. That's what we need.
I mean,
is a
that gives
deadline.
you a real kickoff, and I'm sure Danny Silverman will be willing to allow it to happen at town meeting. And we're having a planning meeting this afternoon for town meeting. So
Oh, okay, good.
All right.
Bring
I'm
it
sorry,
up
tomorrow afternoon.
tomorrow.
But yeah,
That's
this
good.
week, no,
Yeah,
it's just starting.
let them know.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, now Suzanne and Terry or anybody else. Laura was also looking for some guidance on the substantive type issues. In other words, what what should go in this questionnaire? How should that be set up?
Well, my only thought, and I'm sure Terry has others, is that however the questions are put together, it needs to be very clear that if you're looking for an evening class in something that requires us to pay an instructor in that class, there will be a price tag attached. What do you want and are you willing to pay for it? And if so, how much are you willing to pay for it?
Mhm.
Would be a cluster of questions that I would
Yeah.
like to see.
Okay.
We got to have open-end questions. So that you would say, what kind of exercise class would you like yoga, Zumba, Tai Chi? And then, then another question would be, how would you rank them? What would be your first preference? Sort of trying to narrow down things. I think, yeah.
We might want to supply a list of all exercise options and then have them rank them. They wouldn't have
Yeah,
to think of them. They'd only have to
exactly.
rank an existing
Yeah.
list. And then
Yeah.
have other as a category.
So, and other, so you'd find out really what, people want.
And also time of day too, which is.
Time of day.
Yeah.
Right.
People don't like to drive after dark.
Exactly.
Most people don't like to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to to be at class at 8 o'clock. So that's.
And then I think, like Suzanne said, I think that they're gonna have to know that there has to be a charge. No, we can't just, because we're gonna have to supply people to, if it's an evening course, you're gonna have to have someone there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even during the day, these people, if they're trying to earn a living, it's
Right.
aid.
Yes.
Absolutely. Can I ask that can I read through the questions that I don't actually have the questions, but I have the categories they're in to see if these are still applicable. The first one on the 2012 survey was the age of respondents.
Yep.
Do we still want to have that? And we'll put
Yes,
in
we
age 50
absolutely
or
need
60.
demographics.
All right.
Critical.
Seasons spent on the Cape. So to see if
Mhm.
you're a year-rounder or you're a
Mhm.
snowbird.
Right.
Do we want a question like that?
I would.
Yeah,
say
I would.
so,
Yeah, then you can
yeah.
sort it by the different groups, what they prefer, if anything different.
And then living alone or with others. Is that information that,
No, I don't.
No,
No,
I don't think it really
No.
matters.
I don't think that's relevant.
I don't think it's
Okay.
relevant.
question 4 was driving status, whether you're still a driver or not.
That's relevant.
But
Okay.
maybe to phrase it in a different way, are you,
I'm
is
not-
transportation important?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
transportation, like
Yeah.
is transportation
Okay.
important, right?
The next one was physical condition.
Well,
Well, yeah, that might
That's a
be,
little-
in other words,
that's-
do you use a walker, a cane, or, I don't know. I mean,
I think it
somewhat
was-
relevant.
I
If
think it was
folks
pretty-
don't want to fill it out, they won't.
Yeah, I think it was
I
pretty general, the responses. It said seniors are a healthy bunch, 77% reported being able-bodied. 53% they were declining, only 7% reported physical conditions as moderate, impaired, or worse. So
I don't
But
think.
we
that's
wouldn't want to
really because
exclude
if
anybody,
you have
so,
an exercise
Right.
question, I mean, people will know whether they can do it or not.
right, and
Okay.
in theory, the building has to be open to anybody, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
can't exclude
Regardless,
anyone.
yeah.
Which is
So-
why we're handicapped accessible.
Yeah.
right. So
Right.
we'll take that one out then. That's not one.
We'll say it treads on HIPAA, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
what I thought, Suzanne.
Question 6 was types of activities or surveys. Because I don't have the original survey, I don't know if they had a list of particular activities that were there and then a blank spot for people to add. But it seems to me that we want to know that information. I'm not sure how to organize it quite yet, but yes,
Specific,
no,
specific
Yeah.
yes,
activity.
yes.
Laura, my thought going into just drafting it, and I used to do it as an attorney, is throw everything in.
Okay,
Just
And then
throw
cut
it all
after,
in.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
good idea,
and then
Will.
we'll all read it and say, yeah, and then we'll,
okay.
as long as you don't mind criticism.
No, I don't. I mean, it's not my
constructive
survey.
criticism,
Yeah,
I might
definitely.
add. you know,
Definitely.
that just throw it all in and then,
Okay.
But I
we can-
think there
we can
has
take
to be
stuff
some
out.
preference. I just got a survey from the Cape Cod Bird Club, and they would say something and then they'd say, what is your preference? You know, I mean, they narrowed it down. I mean, you could
Alright.
throw everything in, but how many do you think would come to something, you know?
So
No,
like pick your
what I'm
top
saying
three.
that we don't send
Yeah.
it out that way. It's just in terms of drafting a draft
Okay.
questionnaire.
Right.
is
For us to
throw
look
it
at.
all in.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we
Okay.
can, we can weed out the stuff we feel is not prevalent.
And then out of those 5, say maybe pick the top 3 activities that you would do or something.
right.
Mhm.
So we know if they'd come. You could
Yep.
plan something and.
Yeah, you would
Well,
have,
I
a
know,
rank.
that's a
You
whole
could have a
different issue.
ranking. You could have a
It's
ranking.
always easier to respond to something that, you know, is to respond to a draft and make suggestions.
All right.
And then go back and forth like that. I find that the easiest
Yeah.
way to work.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
great. I was just looking at, I think just even for a start for our group to think through these already, we've seen 2 that we didn't feel were appropriate. So, but if we could look at there are 12 questions just to see the general feeling. Is this information that's going to help plan programming? Is it going to be information to see what changes or not? Because like I say, at the physical conditioning and the living alone, I agree. I don't think those, if our
No,
purpose
no.
is to see what services are most applicable and most people will use, then those are that I agree, they're not useful. 7 says, why are COA services? And obviously we're not going to use COA services not used. So is that a question that we want to ask?
No, it's
No.
phrased
No.
badly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But see, that's my point though. I would throw that in.
Yeah,
And
I
then we
think so
can
too.
modify. That's what I mean. Let's not take
Okay.
stuff out
Okay.
right now.
Because if
Let's
people
throw it all
aren't
in
coming,
and
we want to
then,
know why.
Mhm.
And
and then we'll work with it. And at the end of the day, we might not be in, but you know,
Yeah.
you can massage wording that gets you what you want without
Yeah.
being offensive.
Mhm.
Yeah, the question could be asked in a way that was
Yeah,
not
another way
offensive.
of
Be a
asking.
little less, yeah.
we could list the COA services and say, how many times do you use these services?
Yeah.
And were you
Yeah.
aware, a column that says, I use it or I don't use it, and then another column saying I was aware of this service.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know we have durable medical equipment until they break a major body part and are looking for equipment.
Yeah, yeah.
And the VNA tells them to come here. So that's something valuable to the whole community because people have surgeries and they need the stuff
Mhm.
temporarily all the time. And that's just something that's not really out there that I'd like more people to know about.
Yeah. The other thing, when I was on the parking task force committee 2, we had Suzanne was there. We made her suffer terribly, you know, but we
Thank you so
did
much.
have a comment section at the bottom, and we got a lot of, you know, stuff, certain things that I hadn't thought of that other members hadn't thought of. If it goes out to a lot of folks, you get some pretty meaningful
Information.
responses.
Right.
And
Like if you haven't used the center, you know, what would you want to have provided?
Yeah, you know what, as we go on, there is a
I
question.
don't think you
that-
can have such open-ended things because people, you have to give them choices, right? You know, you can't just say, what would you like, right?
No,
oh,
you
I
don't-
think you should say, what would you like?
yes,
You
you have
get
to-
good ideas.
right.
Why not?
I
You're
don't think-
sending out the
Yeah.
form. Why not
I do too.
put it in?
That's how we find out.
Right, someone might think it's
There
something that
should
we
be
haven't
choice.
thought of.
Do you
Exactly.
want to also consider when we get the results, holding an open house so everybody who answered the survey can come look at the building and talk with
That's
each
a good
other and
idea.
hear the results?
a
That
great
would be
idea.
great.
As a
Yes,
That's a
community
really good
meeting-
idea.
a community meeting.
yeah.
You can
Excellent.
share
And that might
ideas.
generate more questions and suggestions live.
Yeah, once they
Yeah,
actually
of
see the
course.
space.
Good idea.
So I'm just going to go through the rest, just for my clarification. the physical conditioning and the living alone or with others, we're just going to take that all
Yeah.
together. It doesn't help with planning. But all the other ones that we've talked about so far, we are going to think about a way we can pose that question and get good responses. So 8 is, have you received advice or assistance from the COA? So that would be a yes or a no question. Is that, I think that seems valuable.
Mhm.
And then question 9 and 10, it's broken out into 2 pieces, and it's the frequency of visits to the COA. And the first one is monthly, and the second question re-ask is yearly, to see what the usage is of the building. Is
I
that,
think-
is,
I think that could be changed.
I
maybe.
think the
We'll
question's
reword it.
good. I think the frequencies need to be tweaked a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
okay,
And
what
that
would,
be
what,
tweaked and added to.
Some people
Okay,
come, when we have exercise, some people came 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so maybe a question that gets at how many times,
Right, and about the,
a month
the
do you
weekly
use?
lessons, yeah, so.
Okay. And then 11 is desirable services or activities that are not currently offered. So that's a place to have a little open end and some suggestions.
Hang on.
So does that seem? Would that
The
help?
only thing I wonder, Laura, is when you guys had that breakfast meeting with that group of people and they
Right.
talked about some of the stuff
Yeah.
they wanted to see. I don't want to, speaking for myself, I don't want to duplicate, like if someone says, I want yoga or I want pickleball
Yeah.
or whatever, you know? I mean, if there's stuff offered other places in town,
Yeah,
I mean, I know maybe if we did it at a different time, that would be more desirable, but that's that brief sort of info session you had, there was a lot of stuff listed that's already offered in other places. So what
Right.
are we trying to get? Are we trying to get something totally new and different, or a duplication of a service or activity that's provided someplace else, but maybe at a different time?
No, I think you're right, Terry.
Yeah.
You know, that was my first thought when reading that response from that breakfast meeting was, well, the town already has like 90% of this stuff. Just because we don't do it here,
Yeah.
Right.
doesn't mean it's available.
Right.
right.
I certainly wouldn't want to cut into Quiet Mind Yoga Studio
No,
or, you know, so I want to try to be aware of that piece of it too,
Mhm.
because I don't want to offer something unless we, if we're offering something that's already offered someplace else, what are we going to do to make it different
Mhm.
Right, right.
that
So
would
with-
attract people to come?
yeah.
So
So
a
I-
Be it
question
money, be
might
it
be, and that
time.
be-
Go ahead, finish, Jerry.
No, I just, that's it. The duplication of service thing, that's what struck me more on that, that meeting that you had at the Wicked Oyster, wherever it was
Right.
about,
Right, yeah.
you know, I read that list and I'm like, where are these people? I mean,
Yeah.
because some of this stuff we already did and they didn't
Yeah.
even know it. I mean, we had a
Right.
board member
Yeah.
one time who's no longer on the board who didn't know we offered transportation.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a little
Whoops.
tricky, that part of it for me, because if stuff is based on misinformation, it's not
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
an accurate response.
Yeah.
And the duplication of activities I'm concerned about, like,
Yeah.
you know, let's offer more yoga. Well, Quiet Mind does yoga from 8 in the morning till 10 at night. So
Yeah.
do we really need to do yoga? You know, I don't know.
well,
Yeah, I don't know. So
I heard that some people wanted, thought maybe we'd be presenting free courses.
Yeah, exactly. They want free. They want.
They
I
that's
think
want it
what
everybody
free.
wants free.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't want to pay. That's what the
And because
problem is.
preservation hall charges and quiet.
Nauset adult ed charges.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
preservation hall charges.
A
Nothing's
bunch of
free, Quiet
COAs on the
Mind.
Cape charge as well. I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
we
how do you
charge for our
support-
exercise classes during the day. We would charge for a yoga class at night.
right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be free, folks.
I don't
Mhm.
know. Do you think that expectation is really there, that I should be able to come because I'm a taxpayer and I shouldn't have to pay?
Among a
I don't
few,
know.
yes,
I think for
absolutely.
some people.
Some of it, for
Absolutely.
some of
Some
them.
people,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
same
but-
people that complain they shouldn't have to pay for their beach sticker because they pay taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Makes no sense to me because
No,
one's
me
taxes
neither.
and one's a user fee. So,
Yeah.
but we might ask if maybe we could talk about crafting that question. Let's say what you'd like to see, and then part B of that: are you currently doing this in any other location in Wellfleet?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they might
Yeah.
want to see it because that other location isn't a good time or it
Right,
isn't.
exactly.
whatever.
So
Yeah.
that would be a way of asking
Plates or something.
Yeah.
not only
yeah.
what they wanted, but a reason for having it here.
Yeah, if it's
sometimes
a
I-
duplicate service, why do they
Yeah.
want it?
Sometimes I get tired of people criticizing the COA, like they don't offer this exercise, they don't offer that. Well, I agree with you, Terry, that our community does offer things and we need to support each other.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, they said, well, I don't know why you don't offer these things, you know? I mean, I get tired of hearing that sort of negativity about the COA.
Yeah, and the other thing is they just don't want to pay, a lot of people.
And the other,
That-
or be labeled as old. They probably
Yeah.
aren't the ones that actually come here for anything.
Yeah.
So if that question was
Poor Laura.
in terms of what would you like to, what activities would you like to see that are not currently being offered elsewhere in our community?
That's
Yeah,
good.
Would,
That's good.
Good.
would that fit the,
yeah, that would fit.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a straight answer. Anyhow, I think we're probably gonna see duplication no matter what.
Right.
But if, like Suzanne said, if it is offered someplace else, then why do you want it here? And then that's right, they're gonna
Right.
say, because we want it to be free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
well, I think all of these have to be prefaced that these extra activities would come with a charge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except
Like our
if there were-
current daytime activities.
You know, Melissa's exercise classes,
All come.
we've
Yeah,
been paying for
okay.
years,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
if
Exactly.
you're gonna have an exercise class with a instructor, they're not gonna do it for nothing unless they
No,
feel like,
exactly.
yeah, so yeah, somebody's gotta pay for it, plus, you know, there's cost to the building and everything, and maybe, you know, I
That's
just
right.
think the idea of having an organized class with an instructor and getting it for free, it's unrealistic.
Our
And-
our
Yeah,
fee
I think
structure
so
usually
too, but-
reflects cost of the instructor and cost of materials. We do not make a profit on
Yeah,
it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which makes our fees slightly lower, but then that goes back to what Terry said, which is we're gonna, in competition with businesses who are trying to keep open in Wellfleet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask to just outside of like a class, but opening the building, because I know you mentioned that group that we met with, there was something that they would like to have had, at least the people, the handful that were there, they would like to have the access to the building to like do a community potluck and maybe a sing along. And those would be things like in the off season that wouldn't
Oh,
really,
potlucks.
you know? No,
They'd have to
that's-
pay. They'd have to pay for the building being
They'd have to
open.
rent the building to do that.
I would think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
If it's
plus
a
you have to
private group
clean up.
that's charging, they have to
Yeah.
pay for the building, right?
Right,
Okay.
not if they're a community group that isn't charging for admission. I know the South Wellfleet Neighborhood
Pond Hill
Association,
School,
Pond
yeah.
Village School people had a couple of potlucks here. I will say, based on the time I've been here, people's ability to clean up the kitchen varies
Mhm.
greatly from group to
Mhm.
group.
Can we just say
So
potlucks are not COVID friendly? They can't happen.
Okay.
we're
all
not
right.
gonna start with them. We're not gonna
Yeah.
start with them.
Okay. Are there things that might be agreeable and in good use of the building that community members might? I'm thinking more of like in the winter time when everything's pretty quiet here, like coming to do a movie night to show a
Mhm.
movie if that, or, I mean, I don't know, having a walking group where, you know, somebody, and that would also be for a fee that they would have to pay this person, but walking, you know, maybe one morning a week in different locations. And I know that Kathy Stetson does that, but and maybe she would be willing to do it on a particular day at the COA if people want that, a way to get out and about. I know, Evelyn, you do a wonderful water aerobics exercise in Long Pond during the season. And I don't,
Mhm.
that doesn't come to the senior center, does that?
It does. It has.
Yeah.
In the past, you know, it started out informally, then it went under the senior center auspice for some years. And of course, last summer, you know, that wasn't possible. So it went back to being done informally because of
Right.
COVID. But yes, you register at the COA
Right.
in the past, right?
And
Okay,
it's part of the mix and match menu of activities that we have 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 3, 4, or
Alright.
5. So you can mix and match. You can
Yeah.
come to inside exercises twice a week and go swimming once a week, or vice versa.
all right.
Yeah, and that's all
That's-
done through us, Laura. They register, we collect the money, we set up a fee schedule, we do parking passes. That's all done through us.
Okay.
The pass.
Could I get a list of all the things that you guys currently do? So
Mhm.
that was, because I think too, for people, if you see that in the survey, these are offerings, like you were saying of Suzanne, to kind of get the message out there that all these things are happening at the COA, but to make sure that people realize that they're offered for a fee. And that.
Right,
it's-
exactly. Yeah. And I think that we might, with luck, we might find that some of the things we offered or will offer during the day, there's enough people who wanted to have a class like that at night, which we could do maybe 2
Right.
nights. The other piece is we have a lot of regularly scheduled committee meetings that are counting on using our space here.
Sure.
Our available nights are mostly either Monday night or Friday night. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is pretty well booked with in-person,
Okay.
Mhm.
for future planning purposes.
You know what I was thinking too, that it might be a question on timeframes that people find it most convenient to use the senior center, including a late afternoon and like a 5 to 7 too, to see if is there a possibility of ever having programs, especially if you're thinking of a 50-year-old or a 55 or a 60-year-old, 65-year-old who's still working, who
Mhm.
might want to come to an exercise program that was offered there. And maybe, there's a person in the community that would want to do some sort of aerobics or something. But if
Mhm.
people, that's holding them back from using services because they're workers and they would prefer to have a time that was later in the day.
So
So-
anything's worth, as Will said, throw it in there. We'll get
Okay.
the information and do the best we can to decide what we want to do first. Or try first based on that information. And I think we have to realize it's going to be a continuum of planning. It's not going to be everything happens at once.
Oh, of course, it couldn't be. These
And
are just
so people have to
suggestions.
understand they can say they want it, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen on October 1st of this year.
Right.
that kind of thing.
Or anything at that. And, I think it should be posed as suggestions for programs that would, be of interest to you. Because there wouldn't be any guarantee if you have 2 people out of, let's say, 700, 800 that respond, that are interested in that. You're obviously not going to start a program for just 2 folks.
No.
Right.
No.
We usually have a minimum number of class members before we consider a class viable.
Okay.
We'll say,
Yeah,
we have,
that's
we
good.
have 8 people sign up for this, it's not going to go forward.
All right. What do you need for a class to go forward? What's the number for that?
It depends on the cost.
instructor sets
Depends on the
that,
cost of
too.
the instructor.
Yeah, sometimes the instructor will say it's not worth my time to come for 3 people or whatever.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay.
But,
All right.
Melissa also teaches that class for 2 people sometimes, but
Yeah.
that's a little different because she's an actual employee, but
Right. Okay. All right. Anybody else? And the last one, question 12, they had, what's the level of satisfaction with programs or staff? Is that one that we want to include in there?
No,
not the staff.
I'd-
no, not
Yeah,
the
I don't think
staff.
so.
Throw it in,
I was
throw it
surprised
in.
actually that was in there because I think that, I don't,
I don't
Yeah.
think that's relevant.
I'm just kidding.
No,
We did,
I
we
don't think
were,
it's
we did get a really good response positive response on staff,
Mm.
except for I think it was, I don't remember, Ann or a woman who said we don't smile enough around here.
Yeah, they
You
don't
know what?
smile enough.
We don't smile enough around here.
Oh,
oh,
If
seriously.
they would crack a
very
smile once in
legitimate.
a while,
Yeah,
it
very
might be nice.
legitimate, right.
Yeah,
All
I
they do
figured
is
that
laugh.
we were gonna get in trouble for always laughing, but
Yeah.
I got in trouble for that.
Who knew we were too stern?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us.
Seriously, because in the write-up here, it has nothing about that. It just says praise for staff members, praise for the facility, lovely place, glad, we're grateful for it, appreciate everything that's being done. So, but we won't, we'll
Well,
delete
know
that.
what we could do? We could just say, do you have any positive comments to make? know?
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
ask for
let's not
anything
influence them at
negative,
all.
you know?
Yeah, we don't want any leading
Only
questions.
We don't want to
Positive.
hear anything bad, you know?
Yeah.
No, I think what we want, we want to know what people want.
Yeah.
I don't think it's relevant as, whether they
Right.
like the staff or
Yeah.
something. Because our goal is to find out what we can offer and what people
Yeah.
want us to offer.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a good goal. Thank you for helping to clarify that.
I wonder,
Um,
Laura, if something you want to consider on there for services other than classes and stuff.
Yeah.
Would be something about confidentiality. Is that a concern? Because some of our stuff is confidential and it's a small town. And I think people do worry about that. Like, oh, someone saw me meeting with Linda and I hope they don't know I was doing fuel assistance. I'll be so embarrassed, you know? So and maybe that's not worth even addressing, but I wonder if confidentiality is a concern
Well, it's a good point.
because we reassure it over and over and over and
Mhm.
over again. I don't know. What do you think, Suzanne? Do you think that
I think
that's
it's true because we're not only activities and classes, but we are the social and human service center for the town. So we do fuel assistance and food stamp applications and all many interactions with people who have serious needs. And we do keep really good confidentiality, but I want people to know that that happens. It could be framed like, if you had a need for food stamps, fuel assistance, whatever, we can make a list of the things that we can help people apply for. Are you aware the senior center does this, and would you be comfortable doing it at that location? Something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that's a good idea because Brita always used to tell me every morning I'd have
She'd tell you who was
coffee with
here.
her, and she'd tell me she was going to go down and get weighed, you know?
Oh, yeah.
She didn't tell me what she weighed, but she was telling me every day. She'd tell me
I have
she was
to
going
take that
down.
number to the grave, Will.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good idea.
I always wondered why
to
she was
say what your
there every
services
day.
are and do you realize that? I think that'd be a good one.
That's a
We
good-
never
that's a
really
good
thought it was an
idea.
issue, I don't think, until Gosnold came here and was providing counseling. And Gosnold did have some people who either wanted to meet in Provincetown, even though they were Wellfleet clients, or meet after we were closed because they didn't want people to
Yeah, of
know what
course.
they were here for.
I can understand. Yeah.
And really, if you're in with me or Linda, no one knows what you're here for.
No.
It could be something personal, but I think that there's a stigma attached to some of those services. So, or a pride issue. So
Yes.
it might be hard.
Okay. So food help, counseling, what were the other things that you would want to have in that question? Those services that might make people uncomfortable.
Food stamps.
Oh,
Fuel
yeah.
assistance, food stamps,
Fuel-
even transportation is rough for some people to ask.
Even what?
I don't think you
Transportation.
itemize.
Transportation.
I think you just have a sentence that says something about confidentiality. You don't have to itemize.
Well, let's let Laura
program.
put it together and then we'll all look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
good
get,
idea.
we're about to close up the meeting, or I'm about to close up the meeting.
Yeah.
so-
Is it okay for the people that are on the committee just to hang out for another like 10 minutes? Because then we can kind of get some
Oh, yeah,
assignments.
that's what I put down in the
Posting.
in the minutes that, or in the
Agenda.
in the notice that certain people are going to stay on afterwards. too.
Okay, that's
So
great.
that's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So
Sounds
let me
good.
move on. Steve, do you have anything to report on the exercise equipment and the like?
Unfortunately, I had an intervening event.
That's
Sort of
okay. No, I mean,
Out
there's
of
no rush
service,
on
but
that.
I'm going to start working on it. And so by the next meeting, I'll have a report.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Great.
could I just, one thing, speaking of what Steve just reported, Lily Greenberg sent me a link to an AARP grant opportunity, challenge grants for small community projects. And I think that the exercise or the walkway would both fit into that. So I'm doing an online seminar and information session next week, and I'll be putting in the plans, at least the plans for the walkway. And if we could have some information, I think the thing's due April 14th, Stephen, some information about the cost of gym equipment. That would be helpful too.
Awesome.
That's great.
April
Suzanne.
14th.
Great, yeah.
And if not, we
Good.
can, because they do it annually, so we can maybe get the gym stuff planned out and do it next year. But I'm definitely gonna put the walkway in there.
Oh, I think the walkway is important. Yeah.
Yeah.
The walkway's ready to go. I have plans, I have cost, I have,
Right.
I'm much more prepared for the walkway than I am for the gym piece.
Yeah. I think
Suzanne,
that's-
what is that? It's a grant site, you're saying?
AARP grant. It's a challenge grant for small community projects that improve the life of the older Americans in the community.
That's great.
That's us.
That's us. We're all older. That, well, not Terry, but
Well, I am.
but we're pushing her there just by hanging out here. It makes her old.
Yeah.
Right.
AARP starts at 50, so.
Yeah, no, what I wasn't aware of it. I was very grateful for the link and the short verbiage in the email that gave you like a little digested version of what was eligible. I'm interested to see what transpires on the 23rd. And once I find out, I'll let you all know.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Is there anything else anyone would like to add that we haven't discussed? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a
Our meeting,
motion.
just and then those that want to stay and discuss matters further with Laura, please do.
Oh,
Goodbye,
can I
guys.
ask-
So we adjourn.
Suzanne, can I ask a question quickly
Of
too?
course.
Only we're gonna obviously need to meet, the committee is gonna need to meet again. Can I just send out my own personal Zoom meeting for us to get together? Do I have to go through town to put that on a schedule?
Well, let me put it this way. According to open meeting law, you have to go through the town. However, if the three of you just happen to come over here and to talk to me, it would be fine.
Okay, I'm talking about us as a group though,
Well, they
to
should go through the town. Post it
the
as a
Zoom
meeting.
meetings.
Yep.
Okay. Are you saying that we actually could come talk with you in person or do
I
it by
think
Zoom?
we could. I think if we had no more than three of you and one of me, we could space ourselves in the
Okay.
conference room.
Because we've
quite
had
easily.
shots.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah, we've had our vaccine.
I get my second shot tomorrow.
Yay.
So
So do
I will not
Yay.
be a carrier after tomorrow.
Yeah. Mine is next week, I'm hoping. So that'll be great.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So is there a motion to adjourn on
I
the
move we
floor?
adjourn.
Okay,
I
and
move we adjourn.
seconded,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
Okay, so
I
whoever
miss
wants
you all.
to stay,
Bye.
please do. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye,
Bye, Terry.
everybody.